Okay, we're going to talk about backgrounds now. So I've done a little bit of the background in here, and I'm going to continue moving towards the edge of the painting. One thing I want to point out is the fact that I'm going to allow my painting to wrap around the edge of my canvas. Oftentimes people will get these framed, but sometimes it can cost a lot of money, and you just wanted a painting for your bedroom. You weren't trying to make this masterpiece that you're going to spend $200 getting framed. So you can kind of just go ahead and let that, see how the petal just goes right over the edge. So I call it wrapping. I'm not sure there's I don't know what the technical term is, but you can go ahead and just let that image wrap around the edges as you do your contour lines. And then we're going to go ahead and do the background. So a really important part about doing the background first is the fact that you want a continuation through, especially through petals, leaves of trees, anything that has a lot of negative space holes. You just have to do the background first. The other thing is, I don't know if you're noticing, but the background, my brush strokes are a little bit messy, and you really want a color to bump up against another color, if not even overlap. You don't want the colors to hang with this space between them. A lot of beginners make this mistake. They're very nervous about letting a color come up against another color. But if you notice in a real, I'll just put my picture back in here, but I think you can see clearly that one color comes up, here's the green, it comes right up against that blue. There's no space, there's no white halo between the green and the blue background. Even between the petals, if you were to halo these, it would just wind up looking really weird and glowy, which, that could be an effect, but for the most part, that's not the look you want. So you have to make sure that that background color and that top foreground color, or even the midground, depending on what your design is coming straight one to the other, okay? So as I go through, I'm going to go ahead and allow my color to, let me grab some more paint over here, allow my color to come on in to that line, my contour line or my outline, and just let it kind of come over. And I'm going to have to rediscover that line later. You kind of wind up having to redraw it, but you would have had to redraw it had you done it in pencil as well. Either way, you just wind up having to rediscover the line and kind of remake it. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to work on this negative space. I'm going to put down some white because I want my blue to go from dark to a light. I decided that. Obviously, you just saw the picture. My photo source does not imply that. Okay, so if you want to alter the background a little bit, go ahead. See that little space in there? Wouldn't that be hard to recreate if I were to have done all those leaves? Look how it would have been hard to keep my leaves green as I'm trying to come in and make the background. And that's why you'll find that if a person did a background last, the background actually gets pushed into the foreground because the paint is actually layered on top. So another reason to do the background first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this, put that in, grab my blue. There's a lot of negative space in here. I can put that in if I want, I'm not sure. But because these blues are mixed together, they're going to wind up optically working together. I might have chosen some sort of other tint, and it just wouldn't flow from one to the other. They'd wind up looking very choppy. And again, I'm going to go back over my outlines and blend that in. I'm going to choose a bigger brush to help blend. This one's called a filbert. I think I talked to you about that in class, but it's got edges that curve kind of. Of course, my filbert's pretty trash right now. Whoa, hey. Sorry about the swinging. It's a little bit tilted, huh? Sorry. What about you when I paint? My canvas goes all different directions when it's on a table. If it's on an easel, you're kind of glued to it, but... Okay, so my background, when I go to put the leaves on top, is going to be very homogeneous. It's going to really hopefully flow from that space to this space to this space all the way through. And I'm not going to have a choppiness where this background is one tint of blue and this is a totally different tint of blue. It's going to flow as if it's been blended from the blue all the way to the light blue. And again, you can put in more, different intensities of your hue, but at least it's flowing. It's not like chunk of, say, one type of tint and a chunk of another. You just have to get them painted together for it to flow. So if you want to go ahead this week and put in the background, that's okay. If you need a little bit more help or your timing this week, it doesn't work, that's fine. But I really need you to do the background first. All right, take care. Thanks.